Hi guys, Rose here with The Cackling Moon. This is going to be a client's tarot reading. We're going to be reading about, I would like insight on why I struggle with keeping relationships, both friendships and romance. So it seems like my client has just some difficulties maintaining friendships, maintaining relationships, maintaining certain people in their life. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull cards to kind of see what's going on there. I'm going to be working with the Sirian Starseed Tarot, which is a new deck that I have. The cards are rather big, so I'm hoping, you know, the bigger the image, it'll pop up better on the camera. But they are a little bit difficult to shuffle, so bear with me. But I'm going to be working with this tarot deck as well as a color deck to pull some, you know, kind of advice cards for you. And we're going to just be focusing on your relationships, why you struggle keeping friendships, and that kind of thing. Okay. So I'm going to lay them out, and then I'm going to, you know, go through it. But yeah, they are rather big, so I will do my best. I'll just kind of pull them out. So we'll start with the tarot first since, like I said, the cards are rather big, and then I'll pull the oracles, but I'll put them out after. So right off the bat, with your relationships and the friendships and why you struggle maintaining, I'm already seeing a bit of a pattern here. So you have a really strong energy to your personality. You're coming up as the Strength card, and the Strength card is being depicted with a tiger wrapped in flames. So the Strength card is about, you know, your inner power and your ability to, you know, deal with rather difficult situations. You have a lot of experience under your belt. You've been through a lot. You have a lot of wisdom to you. And the Strength card tells me that you have the ability to really deal with more difficult situations, deal with, you know, maybe a little bit, you have a little bit more experience than other people. And I feel that the feeling that I was getting while I was looking at the rest of the cards was there are a lot of people who are intimidated by that, that are intimidated by your ability to handle different situations with so much grace, and the fact that you have a lot of experience under your belt. I feel like it does intimidate people who may have not been through as much in love relationships, people who are less experienced than you, and I feel like you kind of attract people who are less experienced than you. Not saying that that's not a good match, but I do feel like when it comes to love, you being the person who's been through as much as you've gone through, I do feel like a better match for you would be somebody who's been around the same like that same path, somebody who's definitely had their fair share of experience, who's a bit more mature. I do feel like you would be a better match for someone who's much older, and I just feel like that old soul personality coming out of you. The challenge card with the Ace of Cups, or the Ace of Chalices in this card, that tells me the inability to express yourself. So I feel like when you're mismatched with people, whether these are friendships or these are love relationships, you kind of bottle things up. You go through that period where you feel like I can tell this person anything and I can be 100% transparent with this person. But then you go through this phase where you're bottling stuff up and you're not allowing these emotions to flow. So I do feel like you get to a period where in your relationship, whether it's a friendship or love romance, you guys get to this part where you're not communicating. You're not letting things go, letting things flow. You're holding more, holding more things in rather than expressing yourself. So I do feel like that is a bit of an obstacle with these friendships and relationships, because when you're not expressing yourself and you're not communicating, you're shutting people out. And you may not think you're doing it on purpose, but it is something that I see that happens as a cycle, because we have a lot of water coming up in your cards, which tells me there's a lot of emotion and there's like a lot of feeling that comes through you. You're a very passionate person, and rather emotional at times. So I feel like because of that, because you are a rather passionate and emotional person, if you're not letting these emotions flow and you're not communicating with your lovers or your friends, it's bottling up within you, and it probably makes you become a rather difficult person to be around. Okay. And so over here I pulled some reasons why, like some, cards to back up what's going on here in this core section of the reading. So we have Ascension, Abundance, and then the Five of Orbs. The Ascension card and the Abundance cards, these are the ones that tip me off, making me feel like you are definitely somebody who's, you intimidate other people. The Ascension card itself tells me that you're on another level from other people. Your experiences and your experiences in life in general, place you up there with people who've definitely had quite a, interesting life. You have more knowledge, I feel, because she's holding the globe in her hand. So that makes me feel like you have a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of experience and connections with life in general. You've been through a lot. So you have more knowledge, more advice to give. And I feel like when you're matched with somebody who may be younger than you, or who they may be the same age as you, but their experience through life is much younger than you, because they didn't go through half as much as what you did. I feel like they feel like they cannot match up to you. It's kind of like a game after a while. It doesn't even feel like a love match, or friendship wise, like they just don't relate to you. So that's what I'm getting with the Ascension card. The Abundance card makes me feel like you have a lot to offer. And I feel like with the feelings as well, because we have water, like what appears to be a waterfall coming from underneath her arms. I do feel like you have a heck of a lot to offer your friends, your future romances. The Abundance card is also the Empress card in the tarot, by the way. So, and the Empress card in the tarot is about nurturing and creation. So I do feel like you have potential to create and nurture a beautiful relationship and a beautiful friendship. But the flaws of you holding in and not really communicating and blocking people out simply because they just don't understand, you got to just kind of rethink that aspect of yourself. If you're aware that someone that you're dating or a friend that you have, they might be feeling intimidated by you, and you kind of sense that, that's your cue to kind of bring them out a little bit, help them come out of their shell. Or for you, maybe it's toning yourself down a bit, naturally being a Strength card, naturally being this fiery vibe with a lot of feeling to you. You're very like, two different, energies. You're fire and water, which fire will always put water out, so I feel like you can be rather, consuming. You can be a bit much sometimes, and then that matched with an overflow of emotions that you're bottling up, you can definitely be a pretty challenging combo to get along with. So toning yourself down and putting yourself in check, I feel like allowing yourself to be more open with your relationships, that is going to do wonders and help you out. Otherwise, people are going to just look at you as, you know, you're a step up from them. You're better than them. You're too good for them. They don't match. They can't be, you know, good enough for you. They don't have anything to offer you. That kind of thing. That'll destroy that. The Five of Orbs that I see is really interesting because I see this alien creature who's like juggling the orbs. This is the Five of Swords in the tarot. Five of Orbs or Five of Swords to me is conflict. This is talking behind someone's back. A lot of, you know, backstabbing that goes on, gossip. I feel like your friendships, because I don't think that this would be love related, but I do feel like your friendships end up going where people will talk about you behind your back, or you engage in the cycle of gossip, because I do see this as a cycle, since it's like he's juggling the five orbs that are surrounding him. And I do feel like you follow suit into just that little cycle of talking about other people. I'm not saying it as, you know, you're a bad person for that, because we're human beings. We've all been sucked into doing that. But that is something that you need to release yourself from. That is a trait. Not giving into the gossip. If a friend is telling you and they're, you know, giving you their heart and they're telling you secrets, don't go sharing it with other people, that kind of thing. Maybe you've had friends in the past. Maybe you never did that. Maybe you've never, you know, spilled the beans about someone. So maybe you've never spilled the beans about someone's secrets and, you know, things that they've shared with you, but perhaps the feeling of someone thinking you did, you know, not trusting you, that kind of thing. That seems to be a cycle. Like, that seems to be something that goes on with your friendships. I feel like it's mainly women. I feel like you struggle a lot with women relationships, because I can relate to that, and that's kind of what I'm feeling here. That's, you know, that's also a struggle I have, so don't think you're the only one. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just means, you know, we have something more to work towards. Sometimes it's easier to be friends and have friends with the opposite gender than it is with the same gender. You know, that's just the way it is. I have the same struggles, so I do feel like, you know, I can relate, which is why feel like I'm able to give you the advice that I've been giving you, because I feel like I can relate very well to that. So I do feel some advice for you regarding this is, don't engage in gossip. Don't engage in gossip. Don't even feed into it, you know? Even if you're not the one saying anything, listening to gossip is just as bad, because it puts you in a predicament where you hear something about someone and, you know, word comes around, and it's just not cool. Okay, so then your advice cards for your situation. I pulled the Two of Flames, which is also the Two of Wands. And here we are with the globe again. So we have the original, the Ascension card. She was holding the globe there. We have a giant globe here. We have the Nine of Chalices, and we have the Adept of Chalice, or the Adept, I believe, is the Knight of Cups. So, it's interesting that the Knight of Cups he's swimming within the ocean, but he's in his own bowl. It looks like he's in his own pool. He's not even swimming in the actual ocean. He's in this like container. I feel like that's kind of like saying, keep your emotions in check. Advice, like I was saying, you know, where you don't let them flow. I feel like it's like, keep your emotions in check. Like, you know, be sure that you're not being too overwhelming. Don't bottle them up though, because as you can see, you have like an ocean here of waves, and to just be in a small container like this, obviously it's not large enough to carry the ocean. So I feel like it's an advice for you that they're saying, don't bottle things up. Sometimes you got to just be open and transparent with people that you're friends with. If you're engaging in gossip, you're going to feel guilty because you're doing this. So why would you want to release your own feelings if you know that people around you are doing a lot of back talk? So that's also another thing that comes to mind too. That might be the reason why you bottle things up after a while, because you just don't trust people. The Nine of Chalices tells me that there is definitely hope that there will be some good things coming your way. I feel like the Nine of Cups is telling you to continue being strong and shine in your own light. You know, you have a lot of good things going, and there's a lot of good things surrounding you. So I feel like rather than paying attention to the empty relationships, it's not a bad thing to not have a large amount of friends, okay? Quality is better than quantity. You know, you can have a couple friends that you can count on one hand, and they're the most beautiful friends in the world, rather than having a whole plethora of people surrounding you that you just don't trust, okay? So I have learned that lesson multiple times, and I am now able to accept that, that I could count my really good friends off of one hand. And I'm okay with that, because to me, those are people that I can trust, that I know, that they know me for me and they accept me for me. So I feel like that's the same with you. I feel like the Nine of Chalices is kind of saying, hey, you know, realize you have a lot of good things going for you. You have a lot of goodness around you. Good stuff is going to happen in the future. But it's also being able to sit and accept and to be comfortable with what you're given right now. And then the Two of Flames reminds me of love. It's funny how you could see like the eyes here in the background. I do feel like there is going to be love coming your way again. And this number 2 makes me feel like it could be, you know, as soon as a couple months from now or February. But I do feel like there is going to be someone else coming into your world, entering your world. But it's going to be a test, because it's going to be one of those things where, are you going to fall back into this cycle where you allow this person to be intimidated by you and then they walk out, you know? So that's going to be the thing. It's going to be your challenge the next time new love comes into your life. How do you react and how do you deal with it? Okay? How do you embrace it? So I do feel like in 2 months' time, as early as 2 months, or next year, February, there will be someone new coming into your life that will change your world, I feel. So it's just up to you how you treat that. Okay, so let's do the oracle cards to kind of tie in the rest of the reading. So these are advice. We have stabilize in a chocolate, like a dark brown. It's almost black. Healing, cleanse. And peace. Lots of blues here. And the grounding card, because I see chocolate browns as ground. It's like the soil that we are growing from. So stabilizing is, you need to be more stable. You need to kind of find that solid ground, that firm foundation in any relationship that you have, whether it is love or friendship. And that is the number one thing that you need to do. Have something solid for the two of you to grow on and be based out of. If you start your friendship out of mistrust, if you start your friendship out of, you know, negative situations, or, you know, things are rocky, you're not 100% transparent with them, or, you know, whatever it is, you start the gossip, or, you know, there's gossip going around and you're kind of a part of that circle, you're not setting a stable soil, a stable foundation for that friendship. And that's why those people come in and out of your life. They just don't feel like they can match up to you. The healing or the cleanse card is telling me there's definitely healing that needs to take place within you. This is accepting yourself for who you are, accepting your life for what it is, and accepting that certain people just don't vibe with you. And if they don't want to be in your life, they won't. And sometimes we have to accept that. The cleanse portion is giving yourself a good cleanse. I feel like your energy is a little bit dirty. So giving yourself a good cleanse to invite, you know, the opportunity of new people to come into your life. Getting rid of dirty people as well. I feel like if you have a circle of really close friends, but then there's those acquaintances or those employees that you work with, or just people who are, you wouldn't really consider tight, close friends, people you wouldn't, you know, give your whole life story to, but they are the ones that start the gossip, or they plant those seeds of gossip. Though that's a cleanse. That is the need to kind of get rid of people like that in your circle, because those are the people that are contaminating the rest of potential friendships and relationships. Also, a cleanse for relationships and love. When you are in a relationship, when you fall in love and you're with someone new, don't allow the outer circle of friends and people to influence that person. Your relationships should stay private between you and that other individual. So I feel like that's another thing too, making sure that you're strict about that. And then we have the peace card, which I really feel reminded with that 9 of chalices that we saw. The peace card is accepting your life for what it is, accepting your friendships and your circle of, you know, those close, tight people for who they are, and understand that sometimes people are not going to vibe with you, and you're not going to vibe with them, and people have to come and go. People will enter your life for a reason. They will give you a message. They will teach you something new about yourself or life in general. But when they leave, you should allow them to, because it just means that connection is over. And don't feel like you have to keep a bunch of friends because you're supposed to. Sometimes it's better to have just a low dose of people in our life that we just really trust and vibe with than having, like I said, a whole bunch of people. So sometimes it's not that bad. But this pretty much concludes your tarot reading. I hope that it gave you something to think about. I hope that it gave you an idea of what's going on and a solution. If you have any questions, do not reach out, or do not hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. And anyone who's watching, this was a 1-card tarot reading. It's available in my shop. So go ahead and check the links in the description box, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.